let's do it. Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast. Elliot Shore Parks, James Seltzer with you. I'm losing my voice. I don't even care, Elliot, because I got to yell for a back-to-back NFC East champ. It finally happened. I thought Zoe would live her entire life without never seeing this magical thing happen. The most unexplainable, absurd, ridiculous, annoying record in sports is over. Congratulations, Birds. Nick Sirianni, 5 years, 5 playoff appearances. Just like, look, it's been an up and down season, and who knows where it's going to finish, and we'll get into all of it and stuff. But, like, you know what? Like, take some victories where we can get them this year. That's been very frustrating. Like, NFC's champs, man. Hell yeah. Go Birds. How you doing, buddy?
Zoe's seen 2 Super Bowl championships and no division title or no back-to-back division title champions.
Yeah. Well, technically one because 2018 she was born after the Super Bowl happened in that year.
Oh, yeah,
but
that's
she's
right.
been born in the year. But either way, she's had
a
lot more glory than we did.
A lot of young kids out there getting to see something tonight they've never seen. And no, look, we'll get into the specifics of the game for sure. I think probably a game that hopefully is like a microcosm of the season, and the way that the beginning was certainly not fun or enjoyable, and at the end they pulled away. And this team is getting better as the year goes on. I think this is the 3rd straight game where you can feel good about the offense. There hasn't been a lot of games or successive games like that so far this season. But bigger picture, the NFC East title. Look, I said all week that if they won this game, they should celebrate winning the NFC East title. I don't think, and I'll go down and lock them after the pod, I don't think it should be a lot of this is just one step. We have bigger goals. Like, enjoy it, right? Because I think this season has been it's been a rough one, right? It has not been easy. They have not dominated each week. They've had to fight hard to get here. I think in some ways that Saquon touchdown run that he had was like, again, a poster for the season. Not easy, not as pretty as last year, but ultimately the same result. And last year, they won the NFC East. They've now done it again. Ironically, I think this is the earliest in Sirianni's tenure he's ever won the NFC East, which is
and they're the
crazy.
First team in the NFL this year to clinch a division.
Which is crazy because you think about the fact that 22 and 24 were obviously more dominant seasons. But it doesn't always have to look the same. It doesn't always have to look pretty. And at the end of the day, this team is going to have a home playoff game. I remember sitting in SoFi Stadium talking to you after that Chargers game and saying, I know everyone feels down now, but if they can get a home playoff game, that is your momentum boost. That is your springboard to a deep playoff run, and they've accomplished that. And the good thing is they've accomplished momentum in between that. Like, I think the last 2 weeks, I mean, they've outscored their opponents, almost 70 to 70 to 20, whatever they had today. 19.
They 12 points now because they scored late, so they won by 12, so 50-ish points over the last 2 weeks.
So they've 40, dominated
40 something, whatever, 40 something. Either way.
Yeah, they've dominated the last 2 weeks. I definitely think the arrow is pointing up on the team in general. And to win the division, I know that it's not winning the Super Bowl again. I get all that, but I do think it is an accomplishment by this team. Coming off the Super Bowl is really hard. They had the hardest schedule in the NFL. And there were multiple times this year where they truly could have quit. And we saw what this team quitting looked like in 23. But you think about the back-to-back losses that they went through twice, and then the loss to the Chargers, right? They have shown fight this year. And I think late in the game today, where you don't want Tyler Steen to get ejected, you want them, ideally to be a little more smart there. Washington's trying to get under your skin, and it worked. But I think deep down, Sirianni might enjoy the fight.
I did, dude. I enjoyed it. We haven't seen that a lot this year from this team. And you said something there. It's like they almost like some people might not think they should be proud of winning the division. You're damn right they should. I know it's mostly fluky and all that, but no one has won this division back-to-back years in 21 years.
Yeah,
21 for sure. Yeah. You could drink if you were freaking born the last time this happened. That's crazy. This is an accomplishment, especially and I know it's how it finishes, and we felt good about the end and Foles and the run and Alshon drop, and they had a chance on, but this team has absolutely been better as a title defender regular season team than the last one was, bar none, and they've been a better regular season team than the last team that went to the Super Bowl. They've improved on it, and it hasn't always been pretty and all that, but they fight, to your point, and they they're kind of coming together in a lot of important ways at the right time. Today was Saquon's best game of the season easily. I think he had his 2 best runs, the touchdown run and then that other run with the spin. I think those were his 2 best runs of the season. I think Jalen was great today for the most part. Obviously a couple throws here and there, but I thought Jalen was pretty damn good and had a couple like really great tight window throws and like continuing to pull the trigger in spots. AJ, awesome today. Like, I think there are like so many. Devontae was great today. Like, I got it when needed. I just think there's so many things you can point to offensively, and the defense just is the defense, and like you feel good. Like, I just think look, I know it's the Raiders and the Washington and Josh Johnson. I don't take much from after he came in and all that, but like offensively, it hasn't been perfect. But I don't know how you could have watched the way this team looked. Forget stats or anything else, or like what people say about scheme. Just your eyes watching
it just
football.
Looks way better. It looks way better.
They look way better. They move the ball better. It doesn't
100%.
feel like freaking pulling teeth. So like, if nothing else, like that's something to build on in the locker room for those guys, I am sure. And for us, we should feel like at least some positivity, even though it hasn't been pretty and it's been a slog and all that at times. And they've lost games they shouldn't have or whatever. Like, it is like there is something to latch onto from a hope perspective.
100%. And Drew from Westchester tweeted this out during the game, and I think it's so true. Like at halftime, Jake Elliott misses the kick. I'm sure we'll have a Jake Elliott conversation.
Jake, man,
but like, not great. But like they missed the kick. I think they're either down 3 or up 3 at half. I forget what the exact score was, but it was much closer than it felt like.
Down 3.
Okay. Like they had moved the ball well, right? Like I thought overall the defense played well. The offense, I think had more yards than Washington did on offense. Like they missed the kick. They go into halftime. And the rest of that game could have felt a lot like a lot of games this year, right?
Totally.
Where they maybe score 7 more points. They win the game, but Washington has a chance, whatever, right? And what Drew pointed out, and I think it was a really good point, was the 2024 team last year would have did what this team did tonight. Go up big, make plays late, put a large gap between you and the other team, and physically dominate them. Like, give Washington credit. Washington played hard tonight. Like, Washington had nothing to play for. We saw the difference between a team with a good culture in Washington, or, good enough, I guess I'd say, as opposed to the Raiders last week. Like the Raiders gave up, and I thought the Eagles made them give up, but the Eagles tried to make Washington give up tonight, and Washington didn't do it. So credit to Washington for that. And I actually think it worked out well for the Eagles because they had to keep fighting, and they didn't just get handed the win. Like, trust me, Washington did things to try to. On that one drive, Jalen missed. To your point, regardless, I still think Jalen was really good. So before I give him a Jalen take, I just wanted to finish that by saying, like, I do think the Eagles had to fight for this tonight, and I think it felt like 2024. It didn't look exactly like 2024, like they didn't control the clock for the final 9 minutes, whatever. But like if Jake Elliott makes his 2 kicks, which I know he didn't, but if he did, they're into the 30s with points for the second straight week after I thought moving the ball well against the Chargers. So, I tonight felt, not outside of just winning the division, it just felt like another step forward. And I know saying playing your best football at the end of the season can feel like a bit of a cop-out sometimes. Like, you should play your best football.
But we saw it last year, how much it matters, even if they played well before that.
They did it last year, right? And if you look at Nick's time as a head coach, he has done it in 21, 22, 24, and now 25. Really, 23 is the only year he didn't have the team improve as the year went on. And I think to your point, like, you can just see it. Like the passing the ball looks easier now than it did throughout the year. Like guys are more wide open. Guys are getting yards after the catch. Saquon is running harder than I think he did earlier in the year. And Saquon, there are more holes for him. Tank Bigsby had a big play. I thought the offensive line was pretty good. Like, it was an ugly feeling first half. I get it. But overall, you end up winning the game comfortably. You end up getting close to 30 points. Like, if you just didn't watch the game, just looked at the box score, you would leave and go, yeah, that was another great performance by the Eagles. And by the way, a game where we just talked about, like, Washington plays hard. It's not easy to win here. This team struggles to win here.
Dude, this game,
exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Eagles Washington is never easy. I will never say it's easy. Like, Washington be 0-17, 0-16 coming in. I'll be like,
agreed.
I don't know, man. Like, it's in Washington. That's weird. And but real quick to your point, I totally agree with everything you said there. Like, it felt in the first half like we were going to come out of this and win by like 3 and it be ugly and be like, well, that sucked. They handled business in the second half, and like the first half felt weird and fluky and dumb stuff happened and all that. Like that was like an easy take this team lightly in a crappy stadium without a lot of juice to a game, knowing you're probably winning knowing you're probably winning the division regardless, to like kind of get through it. And they showed up in the second half and they won the game. I'm with you, dude. All right. And real quick, one thing I wanted to bring up that they said on the broadcast right in here. This is Nick Sirianni 5 for 5 in terms of playoff appearances 5 years. Only the second time in Eagles history they've made the playoffs 5 years in a row. Just
Yeah.
so let that sink in. All right.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a great stat. So I want to talk about Jalen because I thought Jalen twofold was really good tonight. First, let's talk about like on the field. I thought he made some good throws. I thought that 3rd and 16 play was the biggest play of the game. Like you go from having first and goal at the 1. You're like, all right, they're gonna score here, they're gonna pull away. To having penalties, you get negative yardage, and then you're in a borderline like give up situation where maybe you're just like, let's just take the field goal. But with the way Jake Elliott was kicking, that was certainly no guarantee. But regardless, like, look, maybe not the most on target throw. It was a great catch by Dallas Goedert.
To Goddard, but it was an amazing throw too.
Yeah, no,
like,
agreed.
Also just the type of throw he hasn't, like that's what people get mad about
in
him.
the pocket, yeah.
And he had another of those, the one to AJ earlier over the middle where it like got just right past that.
Agreed.
Like he's been willing to make throws that he hasn't been willing to make earlier in the year. And like that's something that people have really been asking.
Well, and I also just think the 3rd and 16 play is why I've continued to believe in the team. Is I just think when they gotta have it, they're gonna get it. And the 3rd and 16 play was a big moment in that game. If he gets sacked there, if he has an incomplete, if they only kick a field goal, that's a huge emotional blow. So I thought that play was really good. Jalen made some big plays with his legs today. He had a 3rd down run where there was pressure. He ran and got the 1st down. So I thought Jalen had a really good game. But off the field too, look, I always say I think the team takes the personality of your quarterback, and that's honestly probably why Nick needs to stress a little bit for people to have fun. Like Jalen is a very serious-minded individual, but the other part of that is Jalen did not let the game get out of hand today, and he's not letting this season get out of hand. Again, 23 is on everybody. It's on Jalen, it's on Nick, but it's the only year it's happened. Like the Chargers game, probably the only game in his career I can think of where he continued to struggle. Granted, had a chance to win at the end, but in terms of just turning the ball over again and again,
that Jets game, it wasn't all the turns, but that's the only one I can think of in 23 or whatever it was. Yeah,
that was a bad one. Yeah. But like I thought tonight, Jalen, like his steadiness really allows his team to stay in so many games that other quarterbacks, their team falls out of because they make a desperate throw or they make a play that ruins it. Jalen just doesn't make back-breaking plays. He just doesn't do it. And tonight, I thought his steadiness allowed this team to, like, keep pushing through. So really good game from Jalen tonight for sure. Like, that 3rd and 16 play, that's a huge play. Like that is a franchise quarterback play. That is why you pay someone a lot of money to go and do something when the play is breaking down in that big spot. And then Goddard, let's give Goddard some credit too.
Yeah, it was a great catch.
It was a great catch. He has 10 touchdowns on the season now. Yeah. He's having an outstanding year. So yeah, just a huge play in a big spot.
Yeah, I thought Jalen had a bunch of big throws. That was the biggest, I agree, but a bunch of big throws, that big run, like he was willing to run, like again, and also just in terms of sideline stuff, like I noticed, and I've noticed multiple things like this year, but like that Tyler scene stuff happens, like right after they pan on the sideline and Jalen's got his arm around him and he's talking to him and like calming him down and stuff. And like that's exactly what you want from your quarterback, but also Jalen, like the perfect guy to do that too, because he is so steady and so calm and like talk to someone in that situation. I'll bet you that's like a perfect situation for Jalen's personality. So I think there's just so much to be positive about from the last 2 games. Obviously, with the caveat, we understand the opponent, but just in terms of the way they looked, acted, talked, all that stuff. And again, as much obviously we need it as fans, it's good to feel better. But like for them in that room, like we could talk about who they're playing, but what they know is they've gone out and executed and come through offensively, particularly in a way they haven't all season long.
I mean, think about,
it's huge for them confidence-wise in a game of confidence.
Think about this too, though. What would you say the 4 easiest games they've played this year have been? Probably both Giants games, the Washington game, and the Raiders game, right? They blew the other team out with 3 of them.
3 out of 4, yeah.
And
the other one
they blew them out.
Yeah,
and the other one, like fully on them. But like again, when we say, well, it's just these teams, you also have to consider the other teams they're playing is the toughest schedule in the NFL. And they lost those games and they deserve criticism for losing it. And they haven't played well in those games. Like, I get it. But again, like when they've played opponents they're supposed to blow out, they're blowing those opponents out.
While also having good wins too.
Yeah,
it's not like,
and I also think it shows, like, if they played Seattle's schedule, they would have stats similar to Seattle. They would have a win record similar to Seattle. I'm not saying that means they're as good as right,
or whatever,
but because they're playing such a tougher schedule, they're not going to look as good as those other teams. Like again, the Thursday night game, everybody.
The league is set up this way. That's literally the way it's built. This is the system. Yes.
Yeah. No, I agree. So I mean, the Rams Seattle game, everyone's like, oh, they're not on this team's level. They beat the Rams when they played them. So I just think we'll have this talk during the week. Maybe we do it quickly now, but like I do think there's an argument for sitting the guys the last 2 weeks and just being healthy
I
in
don't
the
think
playoffs.
2 weeks because I think it's too long. But
I get it's too
I
long,
think the
but
last week.
it's
We'll
good
talk
to
about it during the
discussion.
week.
Yeah,
We'll talk about
exactly.
that during the week. So I only got a couple more minutes. I'm gonna get to a couple more things. Couple good shots, more on offense. I mean, I think both Saquon and AJ Brown. I think Saquon best game of the season. I think the 2 runs were just so big, especially in the moment they
He's an
needed that.
emotional leader of the team
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
And I thought AJ, man, like AJ was awesome today. AJ caught everything
Agreed.
thrown his way. There was one miss, but it was a bad throw. Like I thought AJ in big spots came through over the middle. Like shout out to him. And then look, defensively, I think overall, obviously, they just continue to do what they do. A couple laps here and there, coop the pick, but we got to give a shout out to Jordan Davis. Like,
unbelievable tonight. Yeah.
How many times this season have we been like, well, that was Jordan Davis's best game? Like 4 times. Like he's having his best season by far, but like for him, this deep in the season, the condition, the whole thing, like he was so big when they needed it today, especially it was some huge stops. And I thought the touchdown they scored, he should have had a stop there, but they like let the play go on forever. It was like,
agreed.
Like I thought the defense in general, again, every week we should probably come on and be like, all right, thank you defense, then talk about the offense. But I just think Jordan Davis, like we would be doing a disservice to not highlight what he did today, obviously in line with the season he's at.
And 100% agreed. Quick note: we're saying they don't even have Jalen Carter out there. Like whether you think Carter's going to come back at 50% of who he is, like he's not even out there. But yeah, Jordan Davis was unbelievable tonight, and I mean he dominated
by the way.
BG with another sack. Cooper, a very easy interception, but still made it. I also thought Cooper did a good job. Like it looked like Debo and Washington were trying to get in his face and go after him a little bit, and I thought he responded well to it. So obviously the offense gets in.
That's probably because they saw his issues with the personal foul last week and the throwing.
Yeah.
Like
Agreed.
you see how you try and take advantage of that, and good job.
100%.
Not.
So I thought the defense was dominant. I mean, you want to talk about Jake Elliott to wrap this up?
Yeah, that we got to, and then we'll let you get to the locker room. But like, look, I don't really know what to say. I think like I still trust Jake Elliott in a big spot because he has had 2 great postseasons. I've seen it, and I've seen him make big kicks this year. But like, and he's had some misses here and there. But today it felt like it was like he is like he can't make it. It wouldn't matter if it was 20 yards.
It was a bad day. So
I don't want to overreact to one bad day, but clearly I think if you're listing like question marks for the postseason, I wouldn't have thought it, but I do think you have to mention Jake Elliott.
Yeah, so I think the Jake Elliott conversation is actually extremely simple. They're not going to bring in a new kicker. They're not going to bring in competition for him. Like maybe it does change.
How do you feel about it, and what do you hope it could do? All that.
And even then, like he kicked and made kicks in the field in the playoffs last year. He was 10 of 11 on field goals. He missed
after a bad year.
I don't even remember him doing that. But I mean, I wonder if somewhere in the snow in that game. But regardless, I think what it really does is it might change how you manage the game. But they're not bringing in a new kicker. And I think he has earned the right to get the benefit of the doubt heading into the postseason because we literally lived through this last year. Like the exact same thing. I remember getting calls into WIP. Joe DeCamera was like, should they bring in a new kicker? Should they bring in a new kicker? And he stepped up in the playoffs. So we'll talk about it. It's fair. He's not playing well, much like when Jalen's not playing well. It's fair to talk about him, right? Like Jake deserves to get talked about, but like they're not going to bring in a kicker for Jake Elliott. Like they're just not going to do it.
And fully agree they shouldn't. He has been too good in the playoffs to not think that he can raise his game and elevate.
And that's the other thing of bringing a new kicker in. Like, is there going to be a kicker on the street that has postseason experience?
I'm with you. I don't even think it's worth discussing. Like, it's just you hope he figures it out, and if there's something with the, that they can identify, great.
Let me say one more thing before we get.
Yeah, go for it.
I like you say this all the time, and it resonates with me, and I think it's true. Like, sports are supposed to be fun, right? And I know this season has not been fun for long stretches. Like, they have not played well. There's been talk about Jalen, like the coaching staff, Kevin Patullo, his housekeeper. Like, I get all that, right? It's not been fun, but it should be fun now. And it is fun now. They just won the division. They've won 2 games in a row. I think they are playing like one of, if not the best teams in the NFC. I mean, they've scored almost 60 plus points the last 2 weeks. Like, if you've been waiting to believe in this team, like you should wake up on Sunday morning and go into next week and believe in them, because I think they're playing to that level. And sports are supposed to be fun, and they just won the division. And I think you can truly believe in them. And it didn't feel like it would be that way for long parts of the season.
Dude, amen to that. I fully agree with everything you just said. And look, they're the defending Super Bowl champs, and they're gonna get to defend it in the playoffs. Like,
yes,
that's
home.
Cool, man. Like, that's awesome. And we know that these guys can and have elevated their game in the biggest spots. Like, it might not happen, but it can. And again, there's been signs for hope, and I'm so with you, dude. I'm with you. All right, fun one next week because we're freaking going to Buffalo. So, fansofphilly.com, if you're still thinking about it, it's going to be a fun one. I think they play it. We'll talk about it, but they're going to play their guys this week.
Yeah,
for sure, because the one seed so not. But like, this is exciting stuff. We'll get into it as the week goes on. Monday we'll be back reacting. So enjoy your Sunday. Monday we'll be there at freaking back-to-back NFC champs. Thank freaking God it's over. You guys did it. Great job, boys. We'll talk to you, Elliot. Safe trip.